Almost live, or we are live. I am so excited for this interview today with Keasha Ince, not Ince. And some of you joined us yesterday as I interviewed Marlena, who was all talking about branding and marketing. But I'm so excited about Keasha because Keasha is a wordsmith, copyright, and I loved what you said that you were a messaging mentor. That really resonated with me. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there right now and you have this amazing stuff welling up in your heart, and you just don't know how to bring it forth.
Yeah, to convey that.
That is, you're going to want to hang with us for the next 20 minutes to 30 minutes or so as Keasha is going to share with us about the power of words. And so just a couple things before we get started. First of all, if you join us or even if you listen to this afterwards, if you could add comments, even like, gosh, I loved it. This is what I learned. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you join us in the middle of it, give us some hearts or some thumbs up so you know that you can hear us. And also, if you really love it, share. You know, one of my goals is I'm so privileged to meet amazing people, share their stories. And if you feel blessed by that, you know, it's all about spreading the blessing. That's sort of my mantra. Yeah. So please pass it along and share it. And so let's go ahead. Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I got to say, I was introduced to Keasha a little over a month ago. I belong to recently joined North County Women in Networking, and Keasha was the featured speaker. And the first thing is when I saw you being introduced and walked across stage, I thought, oh my gosh, she is adorable. I want to be her friend.
Aww.
And seriously, and then you start speaking about words, and that immediately moved from that exterior, she's adorable, to I just resonate with her heart because I love words. And then as I was preparing for this, I came across something really fun. So I thought we'd really start with a fun thing today.
Let's jump into
it.
Let's get to fun stuff.
Because I want people to see how you shine, because you're a woman who shines. You had on there simple things that don't make you happy. You said they keep you happy.
Yes.
And I thought, I'm going to steal that for my interview. So Keasha, what keeps you happy?
Oh, I love that. I love it. One of the things that made the top of the list, and it was not in list of, you know, importance or what was better than the other, but dark chocolate is always great to have on hand.
Right on. Hey, who likes dark chocolate out there?
Yes, I love it. Dark chocolate. Also, the ability to do, like, move my body. So yoga is a big part of what I like to do to keep me happy and sane, and journaling. I have tons of journals. I love them. I have one with me right now.
Oh, what does that say on there? Well done
is better than well said, which is so funny because I'm like, wait a minute, but
I'm
well said
is pretty important too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this was easy to tote around. Journaling to help me express my ideas and to reflect and to really practice gratitude, because being in a state of gratefulness really helps to magnify that.
Yes.
Right? So it's important. It's easy to get caught up in, oh, I should have done this better. I could have done that. But really saying, hey, I did a good job. Yeah. I did a pretty darn good job today. It helps with perspective.
So powerful.
Yeah. Style, personal style, things that reflect on the outside. Today I kind of changed things up. My afro, I think I had that on there. Rocking my afro.
Love your afro.
Helps me just to self-expression. You know, words help you to express yourself, but so does everything else around you that really embodies you.
Yeah, you have just so epitomized really what beauty matters is all about. It's just recognizing, embracing, and internalizing all the things around us, whether it's in people or in beautiful places or the way we dress, the things we eat, that just elevate life. And it's this internal thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
So
everything's a mirror.
It is. Well, we would love to hear your story. Speaking of that, how did you get to striking statements?
Okay. Well, during the time that the concept came, I was doing public relations for a large credit union. And it was great to get that hands-on experience, out of college. But pretty quickly I realized it wasn't dynamic. It wasn't didn't have that Keasha kind of flair to it. And I felt I could really benefit from creating my own way of doing that. So during that time, I was like wanting to do my own thing, but kind of scared because it was new and not everything was fully materialized.
Right.
I did striking statements the first time with my mother's wedding party. So I helped to really curate a really great experience. She'd remarried a man that she'd married years ago, like 17 years ago. 17.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. And she remarried him?
Yeah.
Yes. That was quite a celebration.
That was quite a celebration. So I said, as my gift to you, I'll do this whole thing. Again, the whole thing about elevating an experience and showing people, making a statement.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, more than just the words, through my path, my journey, it's veered toward actually using the words to make striking statements. But that's where my start was. And then as things started to pick up a little bit, and then I became pregnant with my son, my daughter was 5 at the time. I thought, okay, this will be a way for me to leave corporate, to fully step all the way out and to raise the children and really focus on taking striking statements to the next level, whatever that looked like. And during that time in 2008, when Gabriel, my son, was born, there were some unexpected, life events that happened. And I feel like this is so important because no matter the degree to which there might be something that is traumatic, it really is something that can really change your life. And we always have the choice. Maybe not in each moment we feel like it, but we do have the choice to take those experiences to help propel us into a better place or to find deeper meaning. So anyway, Gabriel was born with a rare genetic disorder called trisomy 13.
Oh, wow. That's,
So it changed my course of, I'm going to take care of the kids and do striking statements and it'll all work out.
Wow, all of a sudden your focus goes zoop, doesn't it?
It goes, everything else was put on hold. There was nothing else that really existed beyond me caring for Gabriel and being his advocate for the 6 months that he was with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keasha.
That's
so transformative.
Definitely. And so I took pause and afterwards, I was still home. I pretty much, again, that was my leeway. That was my escape from corporate at that time. And I started really utilizing, looking at social media, not so much using it, but just observing and reading what was going on and what people were doing. And that's when I thought, wow, Twitter was the thing the big thing in 2008. It was Twitter. And there were lots of really creative people monetizing their genius. And I'm like, wow.
And Twitter is all about words. I mean, it's how can you say things clearly, succinctly, to the point in a creative way?
Yeah, absolutely. You have 140 plus. I think they've increased the characters now by a little bit, but you have a minimum amount of real estate, to get your message out. And so that really opened this whole new world to me, lots of information sharing. And I thought, wow, maybe I should help people make striking statements, not just through these experiences, but through the way that they convey what they do and essentially why they matter. And that was a theme that carried me through my experience with my son. So there is a lot of connection with why I'm passionate about what I do.
Yeah. Well, and that is just a perfect lead-in because I'm actually going to read a quote from your website, if that's okay. Because I think it ties in. It's very, very powerful. And I was reading over your bio, and this really just caused me to pause and to think because, and again, I'll just go ahead and read it. Okay. You wrote, "In a world where perception is everything, words make all the difference. What I've gathered along the way as an entrepreneur and human is that no matter who you are or where you're from, Every person desires to be acknowledged and truly heard. When you struggle to find the right words to tell the world essentially why you matter, it hurts. So I think that really kind of epitomizes your heart in a lot of ways, right? Mm-hmm. We all have this internal need to be heard in our joy, in our gratitude, but also in our pain, right?
Right.
And we want to be acknowledged in that space. Mm-hmm. So tell us specifically, how does that tie in with striking statements in a bigger way? And what really is your mission or your kind of core value in doing striking statements?
Yeah, so that desire to be truly to be acknowledged and heard, I mean, that's what we're born with. I feel, you look at a child, they walk in the room, they love it because we all have something to give. Yeah. I think at the heart of it, we're all here with our divine missions.
Yes. Yeah.
Purpose.
Amen. I
right?
believe that.
So, and we're at different degrees of accepting that or taking that step to figure out what it really is. What is it that makes me happy? What am I truly passionate about? And how can I align these things to make a difference? Right. Because there's always like passion and then what's practical and logical.
Yes, yeah.
And as a creative, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Right?
So how do I put that out there into the world?
Exactly. But, my mission essentially, along with that theme of being truly heard, there are many people who are doing wonderful things in the world. They're so talented, but to be able to capture what it is that they do, I help people really convey three things: what they stand for, who they serve, and how. And so to be able to really take all of like that passion and what you just do on a regular, what comes to you, and to be able to shape that into a message that people understand, that they're like, oh, okay, tell me more. That's not easy. That's not easy. And so my mission is to help people do that so that they can continue to accurately convey what they stand for, who they serve, and how, so that they can enrich more people's lives.
Right.
It's like this whole repetition of I'm here to enrich your life so that you can attract more of the people that really need what you have, so that you can enrich their lives.
Yeah. And as I'm listening to you, there's a couple words that come to my mind, and one is craft, because that really is a craft to take those pieces. And then the other word is the heart of all of this is about service, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, definitely. Yeah. Being of service. Yeah.
So talk to us about the power of words. Why do words matter? Why does how we say things matter?
Because our brains, these computers up here. Okay. Today's society, as I said on my website, which you read, we live in a world of perceptions. We can form realities that are really not true. We can make what's not real, right?
Yes.
And that's what the power of technology has allowed today with so much exposure. And at the same time, there's so much stimuli that we're all bombarded with every day, from podcasts to TV to Facebook to other to all sorts of the social media platforms that really help us to get out there. But the fact is, words really make the difference, and they make the difference because they carry power. They carry intention, and if you use them in that way, they're energy. I feel just like everything else. And so when words are used from the heart, they are really, really powerful. Stories are more powerful than facts.
Yes.
And that is a fact.
That is true. We are people of story.
Right. So being able, and what do they take? It all uses words, you know? So it's my goal to help people understand the ways that they can utilize their own stories, their own experiences to create an impact and to tell a story that combines who they are, their history, their particular talents and expertise, and, to really help others.
Well, and what you're saying, that is scriptural, because scripture says that words have the power of life and death. I mean, that's pretty profound. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to commission you to be a life word giver. Oh, goodness. So and again, talking, again, as I was thinking with perception, it's just like external perception. They say you have like a couple seconds before people form an opinion. And again, so if you can convey very succinctly your message,
right,
you have a few seconds to really create a good perception where you're drawing people in, or a perception of, and this is what I feel like I struggle with a lot, and probably a lot of entrepreneurs, is messaging that's confusing. We know that the confused mind says no. So when people are like, oh, that sounds good, but I have no idea what she just said, then that doesn't serve you well.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what? And I feel I've noticed the trend in my clients. I work with a lot of, and it's funny you say, because I do feel that I consider myself to be a light worker. To really bring light and lightness and to really help people feel powerful. Because we all truly are, But in saying that, I'm getting back around. Oh, that language. And there's a trend of people moving away from flowery language that is infused with a lot of good sounding words but really lack the meaning. Like, what are you trying to say to me? So I am finding that there's a trend of people who it worked maybe 3 to 5 years ago, but they're like, people are tired again with being bombarded. Our brains are used to it. So once they see certain messages and the way things are written, they bypass. And you don't want people to bypass you. You really want to hit them in the heart. And that comes from being really authentic and true and straight to the point.
One of my favorite quotes is, simplicity is the highest form of sophistication. And and that was actually, I think, Leonardo da Vinci. So pretty brilliant guy.
I think I know who that is.
Well, look him up. I love that, because what that tells me, and this is the hard part about words, is it's all about getting things to their essence. And the essence is simple, but it's not simple to get there. Right? Yeah.
And especially on your own. Of your own.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So very, very powerful words. So so we're talking about business, but how do words actually help people in life too? Like, and how do you become good at communicating?
Well, it's a practice, I feel. If we're talking about communicating verbally, you'll realize in life over and over again, you have to use your words. You've heard that phrase spoken to a child, use your words. And what does that really mean? Even as we grow up, we continue to receive that message in different ways. People saying, what? Say that again? I don't understand. They're essentially saying, use your words in a way that I understand. What are you providing me? What's in it for me? So that's essentially, how you can practice by really getting clear and going back to that, like, what are you trying to say? You can test it, on friends, if this is something particularly as it pertains to business. I do have an Intro That Impacts template as well, where it provides 3 different ways that you can really introduce yourself to really capture that without being too wordy, really being impactful. Because you always want to provide enough that people want to say, tell me more. So many people struggle with, well, what do I leave out? What do I include? Especially when I'm in a networking situation and we all get our 30 seconds. And
I hate those 30 seconds.
Tell us what you do. And that's always a struggle, no matter how long people have been doing what they do. It always creates some angst because they don't want to leave out things for,
And it really comes down to clarity, I think, right? Succinctness and clarity, because, and my point in asking about a personal life, I feel like, the beauty about being an entrepreneur, any kind of business that forces you out of your comfort zone, all of those things you learn always translate into making you a better person in everyday life, right? Like everything translates and transfers. And for me, like even, and I think a lot of small business owners can relate to this, is lack of clarity. Once you get clarity, and you can not only just clarity in your heart, but when you can articulate that, it is like just that foundational piece. Clarity. Look at the issues when we're not clear, the issues that can arise in our personal relationships and marriages, amongst friends and colleagues. No, that's very true. It's really important. And this is where I always start, is really knowing who you are, knowing your principles. Because that will help you
teach people how to treat you.
Right.
By how you articulate, how you ask for what you want, how you basically declare, like, this is, again, what I stand for. I'll say that over and over again, because it's so important to having that clarity of who you are, which will then transcend into how you are relating to the world.
Right.
And, words establish credibility.
Yeah.
Words have impact. So, and it's in, like you said, in the variety of areas all throughout our life.
Right, right. I love that. Well, so talk to us a little bit about your services. So you have someone, and again, we had, Marlena, who's a branding expert. And again, this ties in so beautifully because Marlena talked about starting with purpose and really doing that. And you're that piece that takes that purpose and really defines it. And when we define, there's peace and there's clarity and all of that. So tell us about how you work with your clients.
I start with an assessment, statement sorting questionnaire, and it really asks them questions. It starts with, tell me about what you do in 2 sentences. And from there, it really breaks it down to, when we do a thing, whatever that thing may be, we're so caught up in how we deliver it. When you're so close to a thing, it's hard to get perspective. And again, for not only how you're conveying it, but how people are receiving, how people perceive that to be. And so my assessment really gets my potential clients or clients thinking about that. What would people describe, in terms of referring me to somebody? How would they describe me? Or when they talk about me to others, what qualities would come up?
Oh, interesting.
To get, what would be the first things they would talk about when they talk about you. And so it gets people thinking again, how do I? Because it's often a mismatch between how you desire to show up and what you're doing or not doing.
Right.
And so it's that connection, my job to bridge that and to provide not just the customized messaging. So it starts there. Right. Then there's the mentorship comes and empowering people. I can do the words, but that'll take you so far. I'd love for people to work with me forever and ever and ever. But there's going to come a point where there's particular principles and copywriting tips and tools that they can use on their own as they continue to create new content. And it's an evolutionary process.
Well, and that's why I love Messaging Mentor, because you kind of help them to form that foundation and give them the tools, and then you can step in as a mentor, I imagine, along the way as well.
Definitely.
All right, so we're talking to entrepreneurs, and I've been one for many, many years, and you're an entrepreneur. So you have your message, you have clarity, you're empowered, you're ready to go, and then self-doubt and overwhelm hits. Have you ever been there? I've been there a lot of the time. It's that little voice.
Like, what am I doing? Like, do people care? One of the biggest questions are, from clients behind getting the clarity. It's like, how do I know that people want to know what I am talking about? Do they care?
That is so scary. That is so true.
And another part, Karen, is that people get doubtful about showing up regularly. Something pulls them back, and one of them is the fear of, do people really care about what I'm saying? And the other part, I think it's deeper in terms of not wanting to look too vain.
It's so true. That's like the biggest fear for me when I first started in Facebook Live. There is this, and I grew up in a German household where it was almost like that, kind of thing, that the nail that sticks up the height. You don't want to be that nail because you're going to get hit down. So don't be big. That was not directly messaged, but for whatever reason, that was my, perception. So can you share with us some words that really help to kind of overcome those kind of things as tools?
I have 3 words.
Okay. Go for it.
Get over it.
I love it. Okay.
That's it.
Get over it.
Okay. When you start to feel, and this is particularly as it pertains to, I don't want to show up. I don't really want to talk about that. When we have our purpose, when we know and we're passionate that we have a mission to share, to help, it is a responsibility to let people know that you have the solution to their suffering. Okay?
There's people who need what you have.
is a need. And so if you're all caught up and thinking small, and I know this is easier said than done, but just remember, Keasha said, get over it, okay? Because so many times we're human. I deal with it too. And it's a matter of taking action. Taking specific actions to just say, you know what, I feel kind of weird about this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I have something to share. And there are ways to know if what you're sharing is going to be relatable or resonate with your audience. I mean, you've got to do your research. You know, the other important aspect of that is really knowing who your audience is, right? We can't, you know, it's fun to just create things, but you've got to have direction and to understand. And then you ask, and then you create, and then you test, and then you continue to do that.
And I mean, what I always think, I love get over it, but I kind of have this thing where I literally say to my brain, just shut up and do it.
Just shut up and do it.
Shut up and do it. Shut up, brain. I'm just hitting that play button or whatever. And the beautiful thing is, even as we're trying to figure out who is our audience and, you know, all of that. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
There's room for error, right? I mean, we're constantly readjusting.
We are. And when you do something, when you put some content out there, there's always an opportunity to refine it, right? You get to test it and see, and then refine it and repurpose it. And so, we are many times too hard on ourselves to strive to make things just perfect before we release it. And that's just another form of procrastination and staying small.
That was actually one of my things starting out this year. It was like the vision for me was just move forward. And you can always correct within that. But the truth is, and this is such a simple truth, that if you don't do anything, you have guaranteed results. Which are nothing.
You're guaranteed a zero. Right.
So,
it's so important.
Definitely think big. Now, the other challenge that I find a lot of times, once you have found words and you think you found an audience, there's a way that you change, but the audience also changes, right? So how do you feel like you constantly have to adapt words, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, my way of dealing with that is to always keep an eye on what else is happening around you. We all have other people who are offering similar services or the same thing, right? And that's why messaging is also key, and showing up as you are is also important, because if you have two people offering the same thing, let's say the quality is similar as well, it's going to come down to whether people like you and how often you're showing up and how they can relate to you and know that you understand them. So that's another important aspect of that, and knowing and keeping an eye on what others are sharing. Also, that's another part of the research. You've got to know where your people like to consume information. And I just think it's another part of our responsibility just to continued learning. Because that's life. You're always going to have more things to learn. Technology changes all the time. There's trends, people's tastes shift. And it's just like Gary Vaynerchuk says, he's the social media guru.
His name.
He's a loudmouth.
I can't tell you how many times his name has come up in the last week.
But one of the things he says is to keep looking at where the eyeballs are going. So, you know, keeping up to date, using Twitter, using different platforms, knowing, you know, what's going on next. What are people interested in? Where are those eyes going?
Well, and a big thing that I've been hearing a lot too, it is all about where the eyes are going is really into this experiential space. And again, words have tremendous power to move you into this experience, right? To where it's not just conveying information. It's all about how do they make me feel, and going back to your whole thing about you can have two people, you can have two copywriters, but it's not just about the copywriting, it's the way she looks, the way she presents herself. It's your whole brand. And the beautiful thing, as we talked about yesterday, is everyone is unique. It's so beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
That beautiful unique in all of us. Can you share with us 3 daily actions that you take and that you feel are critical to really just move you forward and move you into that life that I think we all really want to have.
Yeah. So one daily action is like capturing my ideas, like journals,
I love that.
or a voice memo, or a Google Doc, or Evernote. Whatever your thing, your preference is, capturing your ideas, because they're fleeting.
They
So
are,
you have
especially
to-
at my age.
Anytime they come at the most inopportune, you're driving, you're in the shower,
Yeah.
inspiration hits, and it's
Yes.
important to really capture that, because from that inspired thought, you can create a lot. You can
Yes.
do a lot from that. So it's important to just reflect and capture my thoughts daily.
Yeah.
Also, I like to look at inspiration, whether it's watching somebody's Instagram story that I really love how they show
Yeah.
up and the value they provide, or checking in with a podcast, or one of my favorite things, I have lots of professional development, personal development books. Well, I will just open up a passage, or as I'm reading, I'll use a highlighter and be like, oh my gosh, I love that line.
Yeah.
So you don't have to read the whole thing daily, but you just go and you go right to that area and remind yourself.
Yes.
Daily reminders
Yeah.
of what you would like more of in your life, and
Yeah.
just seeing people who embody that
Yeah.
can only activate it. So that's the second thing that I encourage people to do. And then the third thing, going along with threes,
Yes.
is to not do more, to keep yourself from overwhelm, to really put 3 tasks maximum at the priority for you to
love
do.
that.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so anything additional, cool, that's a bonus.
Right.
But really make 3 main things the priority for your day.
It sets you up for success then, right? Yeah. So that is beautiful. So journaling, which is such a just a practical thing. And again, I love Evernote, and even when I'm driving, because a lot of times I'm driving, and quite honestly, I've become much more intentional about quiet space.
Yeah.
Because there is so much noise. Because I find inspiration doesn't come when there's distraction or noise. You need to give yourself quiet space. And even for me in my morning runs, I used to always listen to podcasts, which I love, and I still do sometimes.
Yeah.
But I intentionally have times when I run without anything.
Nothing.
No, I don't take my phone with me or anything. But I love that. And with Evernote, I found it so great, because even when I'm driving, I turn the audio part on and I'll actually dictate.
Yes,
Which I
absolutely.
love that. I think there's even something wonderful about having a beautiful journal, right? Like capturing something that just delights you. There's just that concept. Writing can really just delight, right?
Yeah, and I use writing in a multitude of ways. You can talk, like I said, you can capture ideas, you can reflect on things that are going well, and then you can even project. You can write your world as you want it.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
beautiful.
write it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably a good way of somehow even tapping into that subconscious, right?
Yes.
Have you ever woken up? I've had this happen a few times where I'll be in a sound sleep and all of a sudden I'll wake up and there'll be like these words.
Yeah.
It's almost like you need to keep a journal next to your,
yes.
yeah. So those are just such wonderful 3 practical things. So again, the journaling, the inspiration through reading,
Doing
podcasts.
check-ins. Yeah, check-ins.
Yeah. And then the 3, keep your to-do list down to those 3 top
essential-
things.
yes.
I absolutely love that. Well, I know you have something really special to share with our listeners. Can you tell us a little bit about your 5-day content confidence commitment? I love that alliteration.
Alliteration. Yes. So the 5-day content confidence commitment is all about empowering people like many of you who have the ideas and the inspiration of doing more to reach out and to communicate and interact with your audience. But you just get held back, and that maybe just not having enough planning, stepping back enough to be deliberate, not having the tools, or even knowing like what platform, how do I even start? This is what this is for. People who just need some accountability. you get specific prompts every day into your inbox. And then we have a community where we're going to be sharing what we do, our daily activities.
Okay.
So it's really getting you into action. We already talked about no action means no progression. There's like nothing happening, like nothing. So my goal with this is really to get people empowered, to provide them with the tools they may need to show up the way that feels good to them. But, you know, getting out of your comfort zone doesn't feel comfortable. That's why it's a comfort zone.
Right.
But if you stay there, then you miss out on the opportunities and
and you don't grow.
Exceptional advancement.
Yeah.
So this is what the content confidence commitment does for 5 days. And I don't know, the word challenge, I don't really resonate with that well. It just seems like, it's hard, I gotta do this. But a commitment, just, I think it softens a bit, but it has the same effect. If you're signing up, then you take ownership.
Right.
You know, nothing works unless you do, but
so
I'm going to provide
online.
This is online.
And it's free.
Free.
Free, F-R-E-E, all in capital.
Yes.
So how do people join?
I have a link. We could probably post it.
Yeah, we'll post it down below, or we'll even post it up above.
Because it's kind of long. It's yourwords.strikingstatements.com/copy confidence. So we'll put that in there and just shorten the link there. But it's really easy. You sign up. It starts May 7th. So there's time to get in there. Yes.
Is that Monday?
So I want to start at the beginning of a week and get through it. And again, these tools, we'll be going through them like each day, but they're yours to refine and practice on. Right. It's really great.
Oh, well, I'm going to be on there. And is it a certain time, or is it recorded, or how does it work?
So once you sign up, you'll get an email, and then there will be a Facebook group for that.
Okay.
And then it's just going to be daily. You're going to get a message in your inbox, and then there's going to be sharing in the group as well. So there's wonderful. 2 points of accountability for you to get you up into action.
So just one last quick question on this. This would be, tell us who this is appropriate for, and maybe, is there anybody that it's not appropriate for? Just so.
If you know that you're not going to do it, then don't. You know, this is for the person who really is seeking some kind of accountability and tool, again, to really show up more often, because again, we all have something important to say. Right. So this is entrepreneur, individual, maybe you have a blog that you're like, how do I promote this? Or you just have some kind of service or product that you're like, gosh, I have all these cool ideas, but I'm kind of scared to try it. It's for that person who really has that desire to do more, but you know that you need some help in getting there with showing up.
Yeah, and maybe it's even great if you don't have exact direction, but it just will stimulate creative heart juices that have been brewing in there.
Simmering down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Pop.
This has been so much fun.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I kind of don't want it to end. Can you just, in closing, share with us maybe some great resources that you found in the whole kind of messaging words, that space? And then also, do you have a particular quote that you love, that you'd love to share with us?
Oh my gosh, Karen. Okay, so.
kind of a big in conclusion.
Yeah, I really do. I love listening to podcasts and reading. So I'll just drop a couple of names that I feel inspire me as it pertains to marketing.
And then maybe you could even list them down below in the comments. Would be great.
Yeah. So Amy Porterfield, she's actually local to Carlsbad. Online Marketing Made Simple. So we all could use a bit of that, and that's really helpful. Rachel Luna, Real Talk. I love her because of her really capturing that personal branding, and this is who I am. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek behind my day at home with my kids, picking up the girls. And, it's just people really, really want to see the real you as well. That's important too. So that's another one who I really love to listen into and to follow on Instagram. Copyblogger.com. That's a great site. They have tons of resources on content creation tools and tips. Strikingstatements.com.
Yes.
My website. You can get on the list, and I share regular blog posts. There's also the Contently Creative Facebook group. I have my free
I love that.
online community. I really help brilliant people figure out easy ways to create content regularly with more consistency. I'm all in that whole being consistent and trying things, because it's good to be in momentum. And then a quote, gosh, there's so many, but for some reason, I think I said it before, Maya Angelou said, we teach people how to treat us. And so, in terms of embodying and showing up as your best self, being in integrity, knowing your boundaries, what you will allow, what you stand for, asking for what you want is completely true.
That is beautiful. Quote that one more time.
We teach people how to treat us.
Yeah, that is really lovely. Well, thank you all. It has been just a delight, Keasha, to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And again, if you've loved what you have heard, take advantage of some of those resources. Join us on May 7th. We'll have that link posted. And please share if you think this talk could be a blessing to others. Go ahead and just hit that share button and put it on your timeline, or tag a friend in it if you think they could really benefit. And we love you, and you have a fabulous day.
Bye.
Bye.